Oh yeah, I get stuck in those stupid meetings and I got a boss who just won't shut up. Oh, tell me about it. I work for a complete micromanager. As a matter of fact, if I see that mother, I'm gonna slap what's little remaining of his teeth right out of his
Larry,
mouth.
you might want to check.
Yeah, I'm just sick of him taking credit for everything and always. Oh, hey Bob, I didn't see you standing there. We were just talking
I
about you.
heard you pansies always talking crap. You think you're the toughest guys in this organization? I'll tell you right now, there's absolutely nobody.
Hey, fellas.
Oh my God, it's the boss. Run for your lives.
Peace,
No.
bitches.
Jesus, I just wanted to see if anyone wanted to catch lunch.
So, real quick, I wanted to show you some of my son's anger on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach my son how to use an airbrush this weekend. So we can do some touch-up work to that. He's doing really good, though. Some of these Necrons could use a little work. I was going to show him how to do glow effects, things of that nature. But I will say, he's come a long way. These are looking pretty good. We're going to kit bash this guy, and we're going to turn him into Adrox Agatone to complete our Salamander's army. My daughter is currently working on a squad of skinks. That's for a Seraphon army. That's Age of Sigmar. And she's trying to learn how to use contrast paints. So these are, got a little, these are just pretty much primed right now. And she's just messing around with it, trying to see what the color effects look like. So I think these will turn out pretty nicely. More guys back here hiding. All in all, my daughter's 9, son's 12. Coming along. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad. Yeah, I mean, he needs some touch-up work. We'll do some contrast and some shading, and I think he'll turn out really nice. Wish the lighting was a little better. All right, quick update. I just posted a short showing my daughter boxing, and I said the coach wanted her to do an amateur boxing bout in 5 weeks, and I was incorrect about that. 5 months is what he was saying. He's saying, hey, she's good, but she needs to, you gotta. 5 weeks is not gonna be enough. So it's 5 months. Nice. No, you do a lot in 5 months. It's also a lot of money. I'm going to dive into some comments. I got some really good ones to go over. A lot of fitness-related stuff. I got some questions I'm going to answer for you guys related to how I train, the protocols I'm on, and you guys discuss some of the stuff you are. But before I do that, I got to talk about this video I'm watching. It's Asmongold, and he's reacting to why do you think Trump's assassination was staged. I don't want to derail this video, but I'm watching this and I'm like, I can't even believe these people exist. So the people, they're interviewing random people, and these are obviously left-leaning leftists, and they legitimately believe that Trump staged the assassination attempt, purposely had this kid shoot his ear off. And let's put aside for the fact that a man, there was a casualty, like a person was killed, and two were wounded in critical condition. But to set that aside, because their argument is like, well, Trump wouldn't care about casualties. Okay, you can make that argument, but they're like, would you trust any shooter to hit you in the ear? A kid that's not even it was even 20 years old. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm a fourth award expert with the M16A2 service rifle, and I was consistently hitting 10 out of 10 at 500 with iron sights, which is actually not that hard because you're shooting in the prone position, and all you got to really do is just get lined up and control your breathing. So it's actually pretty simple. So I thought it was easier to shoot at 500 than it was standing at 150, but exactly. So even when we're shooting at the range at 100 meters, which you can put, a nice tight group together, this is a tight group. So if this is your ear, that's your, if you're an excellent shot, that's your margin of error. So you tell me, and there's just absolutely no way he staged it unless he's absolutely bat shit insane. So if it did turn out to, like, that they were right and he did stage it, that shows like insanity that I don't know. But you also have to take into account that a lot of people, they're what they know about marksmanship is movies and video games. So to them, that's probably something that's well within the realm of reality. So, I don't know. All right, let's get into it. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, first comment. Just logged on, and the first one is Jay Tahoe. He writes, "You, sir, are a beast. I'm close to hitting 315 for max. This is next level." In response to my bench press 315 to failure with a football bar, where I think I got 8 reps. Which, honestly, I think is pathetic, because the guy that beat me, I'm right around a 410 pound bench right now, maybe 415. The guy that beat me had 470 at a weight class of 220. 48 years old, I think he is now. And whoa, wait a minute. Today's the 18th. I'm 50. Today's my birthday. Shows you how much I'm paying attention. So as of today, I'm 50 years old. It took me, when I started powerlifting, I just turned 40. It was my first competition. And it took me 3 years to hit a 315 pound bench. 3 years of solid training as a natural. And, I had this thing, man. When I first started working out, all I wanted was a 225 pound bench. That was it. I saw all these guys hitting 2 plates for reps. And I'm like, man, if I get 225, that's going to be awesome. And then when I finally got 225, I was so happy. And that same day, I'm looking around and I saw this guy repping 315. And I'm like, huh. And the next day, I came into the gym and there was 2 other guys doing it. I'm like, huh. I started noticing everybody's hitting 315. So I worked my butt off, got to 315 pounds, and I was like, yes, finally, throwing stuff around, chalk everywhere. And I look over and I see some guy repping 405 pounds. I started working out at a powerlifting gym called Iron Addicts. And I had the lowest bench in that place. Everybody, warm up 315. And here I am just oh man. So then when I finally hit 405, it seems like everybody in their motherland on YouTube reps 405 like it's nothing. Geez. Moral of the story, it's never enough. Welcome to being weak for the rest of your life. The day you decided to be a strong lifter is the day you will never, ever, 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 ever be strong again. Till the day you die. Good times. I think I should add to that, just so you guys are aware, a 315 pound bench is way, 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 way above the average for a male. Most adult men will never hit 225. People that train regularly, 225. It's a good goal to shoot for, to be legitimately strong, is 1.5 times your body weight, or 1 times your body weight's a strong bench presser. So, I weigh 220 pounds. If you can rep 220 pounds, that's strong by the global standards for men's fitness. 315 is considered not necessarily an elite bench, but a very, under 5% of men on the planet will hit 315. Now, of power lifters, I don't know those numbers, so I'm not going to speak to them. But you're in the top percentile of men on the planet if you're anywhere near 315 pounds. So don't let YouTube skew your accomplishments. You know what I mean? You get on YouTube and you see all these guys, and they're the best of the best, and it gets really, really easy to get down on ourselves. When we see we compare ourselves to all these other lifters, and part of my journey was I was right where you were at, and not that long ago. It seems like once you get that mark, that was like a plateau I hit, or 315. I was stuck there for a while, and then once I was able to break that plateau, I shot up, and then I hit another plateau right around like 350. And then, that took 6 months to get past, and then you shot up again, and it's like we kind of go in jumps. So if you feel like you're stuck now, generally speaking, what's worked for me in the past is changing something I'm doing, meaning like, reps and the way we're holding the weight. Tempo's a big one. When I started lifting with tempo, that got me through a plateau. When I started doing AMRAPs, which was taking one working set to failure, that got me through a plateau. Eventually that stopped working. Then I had to switch to a more traditional volume, which is like a Wendler 531 or a 5x5. That got me to the next plateau. It's like changing something up. The grip, the type of bar you're using, the position of your hands, like little things like that, accessories. Honestly, like, I'm old school. I think that if you want to be a better bencher, you got to bench more. If you want to be a better squatter, you got to squat more. We do all these extra accessories like leg curls for squatting or whatever. I found like the best direct carryover was doing the lift that you're trying to get better at. So, bench press, but you can do little things like switching your grip, moving your grip out, moving your grip in, adding blocks and bands, doing deficit with the camber bar to get extra range of motion, or the Duffalo bar, things of that nature. But you're still doing bench press. But at the end of the day, it's all progression, weight, and reps. Something's got to go more, you know what I mean? And, as you get closer to your genetic potential, you have to get creative. But generally speaking, what got me through the early days was generally speaking, increasing the volume I was doing. I remember when I was a natural lifter and I was trying to get past 315 pounds, for a short period of time, I was doing 3 times a week benching. And then, you do that for short periods of time. I call it the smash and grab. So it's generally like 3 weeks of 3 days a week benching, and then a fourth week deload where you let your body heal, and then you go for a 1-rep max to see what you got. Something along those lines. But if you need help with programming, I don't consider myself a trainer. I'm just a meathead that's been lifting a long time, but I know a few things. I picked up a thing here too. You know what I mean? I've been around the block a little. So hit me up. I will absolutely do what I can to help you out with that. All right, next comment. This is a little more in depth. This is Matt's take on the Ancients 7594. Matt's take on the Ancients 7594. One word. Guessing you're on TRT. Ding, 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 ding. Correct, sir. But there's more. I got on it at 33 since my test levels were at 200 when I got tested after years of blasting and cruising in hopes of winning a pro card in bodybuilding. Imagining it helps, especially in older lifters, as there's test levels that are probably in the normal to low range, and just having them back to levels in your 20s and having decades of proper technique. Yes, yeah, 100%. So your experience is a little bit different than mine. So you were, as a bodybuilder, you were using PEDs, we'll say, earlier in your life, and you probably shut your natural production down. Stop me if I'm wrong. And at 200 is low. So the scale is what I believe 300 free test to 1,000 is the top end. And then generally speaking, normal is 400 or 500. That's what you would expect to see in most men. 400 to 500 free testosterone, right in there. Some guys are higher, they're at the, and more is not necessarily better, because it depends on your genetic makeup. Your body might not be designed to handle more. You know what I mean? So that's where you want to get your blood work done, and you want to work with a doctor, and they monitor things like side effects and stuff. But for guys that are like trying to use it to take advantage, we're shooting for that 1,000 to 1,200 range, so we're using more than what a doctor would prescribe. But the idea is to find like that high normal where you can do it long term without adverse side effects. And again, that requires working with a doctor, getting your blood done regularly, and counteracting things like, estrogen aromatization, things of that nature. Now, where our experiences were different, I was 100% natural until the age of 45. I was one of those sanctimonious natties that was like, I don't need no nothing. Honestly, no, I really wasn't. What I was lazy. I didn't really take supplements because I would go buy all the supplements on the shelf at GNC and all that, and I would take them for a week and then just get lazy and I just didn't feel like making. I'd buy creatine and not even want to make a shake. It's like I couldn't be bothered to take 30 seconds to get the mixer out and, add creatine to my shake. Like, I was just notoriously bad at taking supplements. So, like, when I figured I could get all of my nutrition from normal food, and I ate a lot of, like, eggs, fish, red meat, chicken, the usual. And I maintained a weight class between 190 and at the top end, like 220 pounds. The thing I noticed about being natty was that it was really, really easy to put fat on. I could put weight on really fast, but it was all pudge. Your experience was different because you were doing it at a much younger age, and you were probably doing it. I don't know the amounts or what you were using, but if you're trying to get your pro card as a bodybuilder, I imagine it's not an insignificant amount. But that aside, since 46, when I went on TRT at first to do, I did 4 cycles for competitions, and I can go into the compounds I took. I didn't use a ton of stuff since I had never used anything in my life. I responded really, really well, and I did. I found that my cycles were, what were they, like 8 to 13 weeks, 4 different times. And then normally in between competitions, I'm on a little something just to keep from losing all my strength. But at the same time, you don't want to be a science project because abuse of this type of stuff will kill you. 100% absolutely will and does kill people. So, longevity and health is something that I take into consideration because I've got kids and I want to be around for them. So, I don't know. Right, I'm going to do one more competition in October. I'm going to do one in September as a tune-up here locally in Vegas, and then I got a big one in October that I'm planning on doing, and I'm going to go on some stuff for that, and that's something that I would be more than happy to discuss. I don't like to really just like openly talk about it, but if you hit me up and want to know, I'll absolutely go into detail on that. And yes, it makes a huge difference. This is what I'm going to tell you. When I was, the guys I was training with at Iron Addicts were trying to get me to go on when I turned 42. They were like, "Oh, you're too old. You need to go on." I'm like, "Nah." They guess they saw the progress I was making, and they like thought I was pathetic or something. I did nothing against it. I was scared of it. That's what it really was. I was just afraid. You know what I mean? I was afraid to take that plunge, and then of course you can't compete as a natural anymore. There's a lot to consider. USPA is an untested division, so that's not an issue. And I was competing mostly in the untested division anyways, because that's where most of the local shows were. I mean, you compete where you can, and they just happen to be in the untested division. There was no other reason than that. But then I waited, I hemmed and hawed, and then right around 45, things got really bad. I've told my story many times. I just kind of lost motivation. I didn't want to train anymore. I didn't want to, I lost interest in my wife sexually. I always found her attractive, but I just was like, all I really wanted to do is sit in my garage and watch YouTube videos. It was just kind of pathetic. I still forced myself to train, but it was just like half-assed. I was doing the bare minimum, and finally decided to go on, and within 2 weeks, I felt like a 20-year-old, just like you're describing. It was amazing. And on top of that, I started getting just like shredded. Like, wow. So it's got, it just jump-started my metabolism, and all that little baby fat I was carrying around just sucked me right up. And now I do watch my diet, my caloric intake pretty closely. So that's one of the ways. And I do a ton of cardio. So I'm able to maintain a pretty low body fat. But I'm going to tell you right now, this helps a lot. And it can't be discounted at all. one of the things that bugs me is like guys my age, they say things like, "Oh, I'm just on TRT." It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, if you are on just doctor prescribed TRT and he's got you at a normal male's blood work, you still have some advantages that most men don't have, because unlike your daily cycles where your body produces testosterone and then shuts it down at night, you have a nice steady state of it. So even if it's a low amount, there's still some advantages it gives you. But, we were never on just a TRT amount. We were a little, just a smidge higher enough, just a tiny amount, but that makes a big, big difference. And would do again, would recommend 9 times out of 10 recommend. It's not for everybody. Some men my age are perfectly normal, or even have still elevated levels, and there are side effects. So there's stuff you have to really you got to kind of list all the pros, all the cons, and then once you try it, you got to reevaluate and adjust things and get dialed in. And there's a lot to it, but for me, it's improved the quality of my life across the board. The simple fact that I just turned 50 today, and I'm still doing the things I love to do at a high level. What could be better? I feel extremely blessed, and I'm very, very glad I made that decision. The hard part is reining it in, because it gets really addictive to go on those cycles and get that, you never want to come off, but you have to. Absolutely, 100%. I don't know, there's good and bad to everything. So far, the good outweighs the bad, and I'm very glad that I made the decision. This comment, I don't know if I have time to cover all this one, but this is a doozy. So, this is Maxo8917. Found this video randomly, saw 40K stuff, cool, and then Trump, meh, decided to watch and gain a new perspective. I disagree with a lot. Trump's foreign policy was a wreck. He consistently fueled anger and fear out of the left into his political base, and then packed the courts with dumbasses, which are now there for life. He obviously had some shady dealings and incited the January 6th coup. He handled COVID terribly, and I'm just touching on the surface. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Trump was the only presidency going to Carter. No, not past Carter. Who was before Carter? Nixon? He was the only presidency that didn't have a war going on. He signed the Abraham Accords, the Middle East peace treaty. His foreign policy was a wreck? How could you say that with a straight face? I'm a Marine, dude. We've been at war my entire life. He was the only presidency that didn't have or start an active war. There was stuff going on, obviously. Well, I don't even know what to say to that. Where are you getting your news from? He handled COVID terribly. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. So, what I don't like that he did is he pushed those vaccines through. He was trying to accelerate them. And I was like, whoa, untested vaccines. But under Trump, he was never trying to force them. Now, on video, you can look these up. You had Biden, Pelosi, Harris. They all stated, I'll never take any vaccine that Trump pushed through. Never. And as soon as they got elected, they took credit for the vaccines getting pushed through, because I was right about the time they were starting to get approved, and then tried to force them on us, which is unconstitutional. There's no argument as to where the evil is. Now, I think Trump was misguided. I think he's a germaphobe. And I think that was fueling his decisions. But handled the vaccine terribly. You think that it was better when we were mandated lockdowns and they destroyed the economy? I don't even understand. Look, where are you getting your news? This is all stuff you can look up. I'm not making it, it's not tinfoil hat hidden in the dark web. You just type it in YouTube and videos will come up. Oh my God, Reddit or whatever, you know what I mean? These January 6th coup. You guys need to stop saying that. It was not a fucking insurrection. Give me a break. They let them in the White House. You have videos you can watch where they escorted him Like they were giving him a tour. They opened the doors and let those people in, and there was people that were inciting them to enter the Capitol. We saw, and some of them thought those were like plants that were trying to do that on purpose. So yeah, so what happened on January 6th is not a good thing, but it is not insurrection. Give me a break. When Trump got elected, they nearly burned Washington, D.C. down. They did millions, multi-millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of damage of local businesses, private property. They shut that city down. The streets were on fire. Cars were on fire for weeks. They didn't burn. I've said this before. This is all stuff you can look up. The riots when Trump got elected, that was a friggin' insurrection. They shut that entire city down. And there was no coverage of it in the news. So the same place you're getting the news from. Imagine that. See, here's the thing. I ain't mad at you. I really am not. If all you did was watch mainstream media, who's consistently painted Trump as this evil Hitler character, and that's the only place you got your news, I could see why you would think all this stuff. But the thing is that we don't watch those. There's dozens of places that you can watch, real-time video footage. You get way more context from both sides of the aisle. You get to see how the left spins it, the right spins it, and supposedly center. There's really no center news. It's biased. But it's like, okay, so all these points that I'm countering, it's all stuff you can look up. I'm not making this shit up. I have video evidence of it. You can look all this stuff up. It just blows me away. It blows me away that people that haven't seen this for themselves with their very own eyes. I bought a house under the Trump administration. Now, I don't really like what he did to the middle class tax bracket for housing. That's, some of his real estate stuff I totally disagree with. But I was able to afford a house. I got a house at like less than 2% interest. And thank God I did, because under this, if I were to buy this same house now, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't get into it. No way. My interest rate would be, 8% probably? The Democrats are destroying this country. They're actively trying to destroy this country. They're printing trillions and trillions of dollars. It is just a big freaking Ponzi scheme. They're causing massive inflation. They're blaming it on Trump. Like, bro, I worked that entire time. I never lost work during the whole COVID thing. I stayed working the whole time. I just don't understand. Like, if you made a significant amount of money, in a middle class tax bracket, you have a thumb on like how the economy is, because you've got to pay your taxes and your bills and supporting a family, and there is no comparison. I was making more money than I ever made in my life under the Trump administration, and I'm making less money than I've ever made in my life now, with this purchasing power of the dollar to dollar. There's no comparison. There's just no comparison. And I'm not even talking about Trump's character, like whether he's a good dude or not, or whether he's corrupt. They're all corrupt. I have no doubt in my mind. But there's no argument. The Democrats suck. They are willfully trying to destroy this country. They are selling you down the road, and they are trying to make it so you can't. The American dream is dead, and they are killing it, and we're cheering it on. The hatred for Trump, I just don't understand it. I call it Trump derangement syndrome. You've heard that thrown around. It's like people, and it makes sense because, the way the media has painted him the last 4 years, and the way they just went after him. Like I said, if all I watched was those, if that's where I got my news from, I can understand why you would think that. That being said, he just finished his comment was, I'm focusing on local elections because that's what immediately affects us in our daily life. Yes, 100% agree with you. Thank you. I love it. So I agree voting is the most important thing. It's important, but getting involved locally, I think, is going to net you more usable results in your daily life, if that makes sense. Which my generation doesn't get. I'm scared. I want to have things to look forward to, like 40K. But news headlines get bigger and scarier. Look, hey, I'm with you, man. We don't have to agree, you can totally disagree with everything I said. I would really, really I challenge you to go look some of this stuff up and, prove me a liar. You know what I mean? And if I'm wrong, I will totally admit it. I've been wrong before. We don't need to agree to be friends. I like the discourse. It's important that we have these discussions. He says for Holy Terra. Yeah, baby. Max, I like you. I like the comment. I have to admit, like, it kind of ruffled my feathers a little. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? An insurrection? Stop saying that shit. It was not an insurrection. It was like, I've seen worse shit at the local mall. I have. Like, the fact that it happened at the Capitol. If that would have happened anywhere else, it wouldn't have made the news. You know, the one person got killed. The cop that shot through the window and killed that woman. And, but, if you want to talk body counts, like, oh, don't get me started on that. Like, okay, I gotta end this video because I gotta get to work. Oh, but no, I would like, this is just the kind of types of discussions I enjoy having, and I appreciate the comment, and I ain't mad. I'm mad. We disagree, but we can talk, you know what I mean? We have a lot in common. We both don't have much faith in the government. We both love 40K, and we both think that, you know, getting involved at the local level is where we can do the most good. And, you know, I'm assuming that you, just like me, put your work boots on one foot at a time, and you get out there, and we're just trying to get through this. So, right on, my brother. I hope this isn't the last of our discussion. And the rest of you, now that I've answered this, I'm running way late. So, I will see you on the battlefield. I love ya.